شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها فإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. Greet you all with the greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and the blessing of Almighty Allah be with you all. I'd like to welcome you all for continuation of our series 100 Advices by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this morning, inshallah, we're working on advice number 96. عن أبي ذر رضي الله عنه قال قلت يا رسول الله ألا تستعملني قال فضرب بيده على منكبي أو على منكبي ثم قال يا أبا ذر إنك ضعيف وإنها أمانة وإنها يوم القيامة خزي وندامة إلا من أخذها بحقها وأدى الذي عليه فيها.
Please forgive. Please forgive.
Get closer, please.
Yes, sir. Inshallah.
Do you need the glasses?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No. It's all good. Alhamdulillah. Beautiful. It is narrated on the authority of Abu Dar, who said, I said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Messenger of Allah, will you not appoint me to a public office? He stroked my shoulder with his hand and said, Abu Dar, you are weak and authority is a trust. And on the day of judgment, it is a cause of humiliation and repentance except for one who fulfills its obligation and properly discharges the duties attended thereon. Sahih Muslim.
Jazakallah khairan. Alhamdulillah. This advice given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to one of the Sahaba, Abu Dharr, may Allah be pleased with him, which he had requested the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he will trust him with a public position, being an officer, being a mayor, being deputy of the imam, something in a government, to be in charge of the people, charging of the money, charging of the affairs of the people. This is what you may call it, a public office. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he pat him on his shoulder and he said, O Abu Dharr, innaka da'if, you are a weak person. If it's physically or weak in your heart, so there is some kind of weakness in you. That means this matter is supposed to be given to a person who is qualified. You may be strong physically, but you don't know how to do the job. You don't have the knowledge. You may have the knowledge, but you don't have the training to be in charge of the people, to be in a position that the people will come to seek assistance. If it's money, if it's a physical, whatever it is, there is needs. And this shows us something very important. How the Prophet ﷺ was so acquainted with all this Sahaba. As Imam, as a leader. He knows who can do and who could not. And how is the concern of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It's not because somebody asked him, he will give him. Because he's concerned about his protection, mainly in the grave and in the hereafter. Because you're going to be questioned about this authority. You're going to be questioned about this position. And you can imagine if you have 10 people under your supervision, or 100 people, or 1,000 people, or millions of people. Nowadays we have people that in charge of Muslims or non-Muslims, and they have millions and billions under their supervision and their control. And how many times, day and night, they had neglected the affairs of these people. So here is the Prophet ﷺ know about there is something in Abu Dharr, may Allah be pleased with him, although he's a Sahabi, his taqwa, his salah, this is good, but there is other means and ways how to deal with people, how to understand people, how to see the needs and the wants of people, and that how you to be quick to respond to their needs. And sometimes you can look in the person's face and you can understand what he need or what she need. And how you going to do your best to fulfill these needs according whatever means that Allah made it under your authority. He said, "Oh Abu Dharr, you are weak. There is some kind of a part of your capability is not matched in this position. And what you're asking for is a trust. It's not a game. It's not for fame. It's not for publicity. It's not for everybody to call you so and so. إنها أمانة. In this life is a trust. But what's going to happen later on, tomorrow, when you resurrected and stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the day of the judgment, will be a sorrow, will be a nadama. You're going to be regretting. Maybe you get more salary in the dunya by being in public office. People will be taking your pictures, put it in the newspaper. All the media will be there, try to take something to hear from you, what you say about this. Okay? Yes. It is a amana in this dunya. And in the hereafter will be khizy and nadama. You will regret. You will be embarrassed in front of all this mankind that will be in the day of judgment. Yawm al-Qiyamah, this public office will be a regret, will be a sorrow, and will be embarrassment if you did not fulfill it. If you did not fulfill it. And how you can imagine that somebody, he is not a true Muslim or not Muslim, and is going to be fulfilling it as it's supposed to be. Look to Umar radiallahu anhu. Umar was worried not about his subject as a human being, he was worried about even animals. And say, I'll be afraid that somebody all the way in the end of the kingdom of Islam or the Muslim community, not here in Arabia, in Mecca or in Medina, but all the way in Iraq, miles and miles away from me, if his donkey or the camel tremble while traveling, I'd be scared that Allah will question me about it in the day of judgment. He's not talking about the person who riding the camel or the donkey. He's talking about the camel as an animal. Can you imagine how many human beings living today could not even find the basic food? Do you know that people nowadays, they have what you call it, homeless. Some people, they eating from trash. While the head of the office, this public office, have 5, 7, 8, 10 palaces and boats and hotels and money like rice, as much as rice is. And people in under his government or under his office, they go and searching the trash to eat. They have to go to borrow money to live in usury so they can complete their education. What it make a king or a president or any person in a public office take 10 and 13 and 20 and 100 times more than anybody else? Because your name? Because your color? Because your fame? This is something that if you are not strong enough to carry it, run away from it. Even it comes and they put it in your lap. You don't know how serious it is in the day of judgment. The Prophet ﷺ says, each one of you is a shepherd. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Each one of you is a shepherd, is a governor, and each one of you going to be questioned in the day of a judgment about his subject. Did he do his job or not? How many thousands and thousands of people in public offices today, they are not doing it. They live there, you understand, to be more richer and more money. That's it. How many people they spend money, millions of dollars to be in this office? It's not a game. Islam is so serious. Islam is the protection for you in this life and the hereafter. Telling you, be careful. Because everybody under your subject. If you are a husband, if you are a mother, how many kids? 4, 5? You are now in position of leadership. You're going to be questioned about 5 kids. What about you? In Imam in Masjid? You're a mayor in a city? How many under your supervision? Huh? It's serious. How a person can think to step in a public office knowingly that you could not fulfill it. And you go paying money, giving people gifts, putting your name in the streets everywhere, begging, lecturing what I can do for you, what I can do for you. And after the election, what? Not even half of what he or she promised. This is not for us. This is not for us. And if anybody step in it, you've taken a very serious chance. Because here, who's going to tell you what you're doing? Okay? But in the day of judgment, going to be questioned about the rights of everybody under your supervision. Said, no, Abu Dhar, you are not qualified to do it. You are weak. Yes, you be happy now to have it. Everybody calling you Mr. President, Mr. Mayor, Mr. whatever. But what about in the day of judgment? Khizyun wa nadama, embarrassment in front of everybody. And you'll be sorry, but it will be too late. You could not fix it. So Alhamdulillah, see, from this we understand, let's be there to help. Let's be there to assist. Being the boss, the head, is a serious matter. It's a serious matter. And even if the people drag you to such a position, if you can run away, run away. Because you're going to be happy now, but you don't know what's going to happen when you go in your grave and when you're resurrected in the day of judgment. It's very serious, very important nasiha for all the Muslims, especially those people. Look all the killings that happen nowadays. Look how many bloodshed happening every day in so-called Islamic countries. For what? Not because Allah, not because His Messenger. not for the establishment of the Sunnah, foolishness, nothing else. Jealousy, envy, greed. A blood of a Muslim more dear to Allah than somebody destroying the Kaaba. A blood of one Muslim. Nowadays, you can read hear in the news every day, hundreds and thousands of Muslims getting killed by their own president, their own kings, their own mayors, whatever it is. Okay, Muslim killing Muslims. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. It's sad. It's sad. And all this what? Because few years, Allah knows best if you're going to make it or not. And after this, you're fighting for the new election and for more and more and more until death and comes take over. You'll be sorry. May Allah keep us away from such a serious job, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us, make us content and satisfied, that we contribute a little bit with sincerity better than something that we could not handle it in the day of judgment. آخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الله knows best. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. جزاكم الله خيرا. وإياكم.